Okay, so today I wanted to do a video about the TV show Sopranos, which I believe went off the air in 2007. And I've been watching it lately and reading some analysis of it online and thinking about the ending and, you know, the statement I think that the writers were trying to make with the story. And I really do think that the reason that this is such a popular show, other than maybe the more base reasons of all the sex and violence and stuff that people tend to want to watch on the screen, I think one reason that it was a popular show was because it really did try to tell a story that I think is relatable to a lot of people living in modern society in the West, people that are, compared to people in other parts of the world, more affluent, and you could really see, I really see parallels between organized crime and the economic system that we live under. I do think that our monetary system is corrupt. I do think that a lot of the ways in which our economy rewards some people and not others, I think that is a very corrupted system. I do think that capitalism has, you know, upsides in that it does sort of fit human nature. It is human nature to want to be somewhat individualistic and self-serving, and to be able to see the fruits of your own labor and not have to, you know, share those goods or that work with the collective. You know, I do think that there are a lot of people that are unmotivated, such that if they didn't have to work or do anything productive in order to get their basic needs met, they simply wouldn't do anything productive. So, you know, capitalism, I think, has certain positive aspects, but I also think that capitalism has negative aspects and brings out a lot of negative aspects of human nature, such as greed and materialism, and I think that we in the West have a certain awareness that our lifestyle is there is a certain ruthlessness and violence and dehumanization inherent in it. Maybe not everybody is aware of that, but I think reasonably intelligent people are aware of that. When you look at the way our economic policies work internationally, when you look at the way that our military operates, when you look at the way that meat is produced in the United States, for example. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not going to say that I wouldn't like to be, but it's just not something that I think that I could do very easily. I think that there are a lot of people that are like me, that don't really want to give up eating meat and don't really think that it's natural for people to live a completely vegetarian lifestyle. However, I do think that it's important that animals be raised and killed compassionately, and that does not happen in these big factory farms. Animals are raised solely for the purpose, raised, housed, killed. The only motive is making money. And I think that is really a very big downside of capitalism, is that the sole motivation in economics really is to make money. And it's not, you may believe that the best way to do that is providing a valuable service or a valuable product, but a lot of people, rather than doing that, will simply try to prevent other people from providing a more valuable service or a more valuable product, or they'll influence the government to pass laws that will favor their company over others. And ours is a very, very corrupted system, very corrupted version of capitalism. And I think that the wealth disparity that capitalism inherently creates, I think, makes it inevitable that people will act in unethical ways in order to get ahead and stay ahead. I think that it is as corruptible as socialism and communism. So the people that want to argue that it isn't are just dreaming. And really, the people that want to argue that, oh, the problem with our capitalism is too much government interference, I think they are also deluding themselves. I don't think that the problem is too much government interference. I think that it is that government is too easily corrupted and ends up serving the needs of the wealthy over the needs of the body politic at large. And that's not something that would go away. If you didn't have government, then you would just have, I think, private armies, wealthy people, and they wouldn't call it government. They would call it something else, but you would still have this great advantage of the wealthy over the poor. A government, I think, is just a symbol of that. It's not the problem. It's just my opinion. I think The Sopranos, getting back to that, I think it explores a lot of what makes people truly happy. And of course, a lot of times our society tries to teach us that it's having a bigger house or having a nicer car or buying a lot of friends, attracting people basically because you're wealthy, which does tend to attract people to you, but not really for the right reasons. I think true happiness is really being in service to others, and it's really trying to find what you're good at and what you enjoy doing. Even if that doesn't necessarily make you wealthy, I just think that in general, that other people find happiness in being a valuable member of society, and it isn't really about what you have or who you know or any of those other things. I think people need to feel a sense of belonging. I think people naturally want to have a happy family life. with children, and that means behaving in a way that is compatible with having a happy relationship, and that means, being honest and not being afraid to face your past, and if you end up being unhappy, a lot of people, when they are unhappy, they tend to blame other people rather than look at what they themselves did to create the situation. And since you can't change other people, I'm not saying that nothing bad ever happens to people that isn't their fault. I mean, that certainly isn't true. But I do think that when something bad happens to us, even if it isn't our fault, I think we need to look at what we may have done consciously or subconsciously to attract that situation into our life. And if we can come up with answers that help us make better decisions in the future, I think that's a positive thing. And I think, getting back to The Sopranos, I think a lot of him being in therapy, and his psychiatrist, in essence, trying to get him to see that his lifestyle and the way he made his money was incompatible with the kind of sense of fulfillment and happiness and family peace that he wanted to have. She tried to lead him to that conclusion, but he didn't want to face it. And a lot of people, I think, don't want to face how corrupted our society is and how how we need to make changes in order to have a better future. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.